Okay, we're live. I'm attorney Vince Davis, and this is The Secret: How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm joined by my co-host, Miss Cassandra Woodard. Miss Woodard, how are you?
I'm good.
It looks like we have a very special guest today. We have Valerie. Valerie, how are you?
I'm not too good.
Okay, understandable. And I see you have somebody with you there.
This is my ex-husband, Shane.
Your ex-husband. Okay,
Yeah.
Shane, how are you?
Good.
Good, good, good. So I'm told that you guys are from the great state of Oregon. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What part of Oregon are you in?
We are Malheur County, Ontario.
Okay. A couple years ago, I did a case up there in Deschutes County. How far are you from Deschutes, from Bend, Oregon?
We don't know. We're originally from California.
Oh,
We
okay.
moved down here like 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. We're from Salinas, California, but I came down here to work.
Okay. So you're from Salinas. That's John Steinbeck country, isn't it?
Yep.
There was an attorney who used to work with me. Her name is, Denise, who did CPS cases with me. And she moved to Oregon, and I think she moved to Bend, Oregon. She and her husband had found Bend, Oregon, independently of me doing a case there years ago, and decided that's where they wanted to retire to. Apparently, well, Bend is a very beautiful place, and I guess the whole state of Oregon is a very beautiful place. So one of
Yeah.
the things I know about Oregon is that Oregon runs its CPS at the state level. California runs its CPS at the county level. So I think up in Oregon, what is it called? DHS or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was, same thing as California. So why don't you start from the beginning, Valerie, and tell me or tell us what's going on up in Oregon?
I had befriended a lady. She was a drug dealer, and I had become friends with her. And she she turned around and accused my ex-husband of touching our daughter,
Of what?
touching our daughter, molesting our daughter.
Okay, so a current drug dealer accused your ex-husband of touching your daughter.
Yeah, he was my husband at the time.
Well, I'm the father of the kid.
Yeah.
That's my daughter, too.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they ended up calling DHS because I didn't believe them. So they ended up calling DHS, and DHS came into our home, and I didn't know that I could not deal with them, but they ended up the molestation ended up being non-founding. It got dropped, but they took my kids because I was a drug addict and because I had my kids around unsafe people, which was the chick. And they gave him the opportunity to sign an in-home safety plan, and he said no, he wouldn't sign it because he didn't do anything wrong. He felt at the time, he felt that, making me leave the house and him keeping the kids should have been enough, and they said no, so they took my kids.
Well, they wanted me to sign an in-home safety plan, and whatever she does reflects on me. So basically, making me responsible of her actions. So I told them that I wasn't going to sign something to be responsible of someone else's actions. And
Sounds
they're
sounds reasonable to me. How could they take your kids away?
so they took the kids away on my behalf, saying that, well, first they tried to say I was on drugs too, but then I drug tested them for 8 months straight, clean. And so they dropped that, saying that I'm not. Then the judge orders me to take a psych eval when I already had my own psych. I was paying for myself, but he didn't let me do that. He ordered me to take theirs, and they try to say I have antisocial personality. But I mean, I don't feel it's true because I mean, I've been holding a job for over 15 years straight. I'm not in prison, not in jail. I mean, I pay her rent and my rent in my place. You know, I have vehicles, everything. I mean, I've been out of trouble and everything, but they're trying to say that since I have that I'm incapable of taking care of the kids. And then they're trying to say that there was domestic violence in the house, but I did all the classes for the domestic violence, but I never been arrested for domestic violence. It was all on hearsay. And
Well, hold on a second. Did any psychiatrist or psychologist say that you have antisocial behavior and that behavior causes you to be a risk to the children?
yes,
A psychologist said that?
They're
yes,
DHS's psychologist. Okay, so we'll back
Hold
it
on.
up.
Hold on a second. The interesting thing is that, you know, depending on how old your oldest child is, say your oldest child was 10 years old, you had this antisocial behavior that didn't affect you being around your kids for 10 years. Why all of a sudden now?
Our oldest is 8, and it's been for 5 years.
Well, you know, one of the things, and I don't tell this to everyone, but one of the things that you should consider, and you don't have to write this down because it's being taped on 8 social media websites, but you should file a complaint with the Department of Health and Human Services. Because this is one of those cases which I call clearly falls into the trumped up case,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know, CPS under the federal regulations, and you know, I've done a case in Oregon, although I'm not licensed in Oregon. I had um, permission to do a case there. You know, CPS is supposed to be protecting children from abuse and from, you know, known risks. Listen, probably every parent in the world has some kind of psychological, you know, uh, issue. That doesn't mean you can't take care of your children. And if some if some therapist said that, I would guess, and I don't have any evidence of this, but I would guess that he was paid or she was paid to say that.
yes. That's what I told them. And I mean, they
When
didn't listen to nothing I said.
Okay, wait. When he was first told by the courts he had to take this psychological evaluation, Shane said, "Look, I want to hire my own therapist, my own what is it, therapist, psychologist. Sorry, I want to hire my own psychologist. I don't want to go through your guys's through DHS's office. I don't want to deal with one of your guys. I want to get my own, hire my own." And we found one. And we told our caseworker, and we waited for 3 months for her to send her referral letter to this psychologist. She never sent it. We ended up going to court again, and the judge said, "Look, Shane, you're going to do it through DHS's office. You're not going to do your own. It's taken too long. We're going to do it through DHS's office." But we were waiting for her just to send the referral. She never did. So he was made to do it through their office. And then he gets done with the antisocial personality disorder by their doctor.
And when he made that order, I'm not gonna lie, I messed up. And since he was forcing me to go through theirs and I knew it was rigged already, I got mad and I cussed out the judge because he was basically forcing me to go through theirs. So he's trying to say because I cussed him out that I can't control myself. Like, but I mean, it's all
Hold on,
through emotions.
hold on 1 second. Now, Shane, that was a very important fact you just told me.
Yeah.
The judge doesn't know you. He only knows what he sees and hears in the courtroom.
Yes.
And if you went off on him in the courtroom, whether you have antisocial whatever, he's going to be hesitant about giving you the kids. Period.
Yes.
Now, I want everybody listening, you cuss out the judge and expect to win.
I know.
Okay? Just you can't do it.
I know.
Okay. All right. So I'm glad you told me that because that's a very important factor. Let's go back to Valerie because I thought we were going to get someplace with you, Shane, but you can't be cussing out the judge.
I know. I realize I messed up, but I mean, really, I didn't do nothing at all. Everything that reason they were taking my kids away went through her.
Wait. But see, here's the thing. And Cassandra, this is what I tell you, and I tell Ms. G, and I tell everyone. You're looking at this case like these people are going to be fair and reasonable.
Yeah,
You're looking at it the wrong way.
I know.
Okay. It's America, but do you see unfair things in our society, our country? Of course you
Yes,
do.
see
All
it
you have
all
to
the
do is
time.
turn on the news, any station, MSNBC, Fox News, CNN. You're going to see nothing but unfair shit no matter what.
Yeah,
Republican, Democrat, Independent. There's all kinds of stuff. And people are always complaining on what's unfair. So you got, I'm not telling you to kiss anybody's ass, but don't cuss the judge out.
I know.
But-
It was just
And
through.
by the way, if your case is still going on, what I would consider is
No.
talk to my attorney and write an apology letter to the judge.
That he already severed my rights to my kids already.
Yesterday.
He did it
Okay.
2 days ago.
Okay, so now you have to appeal.
Yes.
You have to get into the appeal business. The appeal business is not a good business to be in. In California, the statistics, I forget the exact number, but if you appeal in California on any kind of case, CPS case, civil case, divorce case, whatever, real estate case, probate case, the odds are less than 10% that you're going to win.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's less than that. I think it might even be less than 5%. Okay. So you don't want to be in the appeal business. Okay. Because by definition, you're going uphill battle. Because in most cases, the Court of Appeals is going to give, a certain type of nod and acknowledgement to the trial judge that was sitting in the courtroom looking at you.
Yes.
Okay. So everyone listening, you don't want to be in the appeal business. And you don't want to cuss the judge out. Now, do you guys both have attorneys that you can file your notice of appeal?
Yes.
Okay. So have you done that already?
Yeah.
They filed the intent to appeal.
Okay. So one of the things that you're going to now, did they take your reunification services away or your parental rights away?
Parental rights.
Oh, that's interesting. Because the notice of intent in California is filed when they take your reunification services away. And in California, if they take your parental rights, you file a notice of appeal. So it may be different in your state. Okay. And so you have to go with your attorney's recommendations. But that's how it is in California. And it may just as well be different.
We only have the public defender attorneys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if that's all you have, that's what you have, and you have to work with them. Okay. No sense in complaining about it. All right. You can't, you just lost your rights. You can't be complaining about it. Let's get together, get with them, and try to come up with a strategy or a plan. Well, one of the things I would talk to your attorney about or consider is filing that complaint with the Department of Health and Human Services in Washington, D.C. I'm told now that you can do it right online, and they perform audits and they sometimes investigate cases and sometimes they get results for the parents. I know of a case where they reversed an adoption, or they didn't reverse the adoption. What they said, what I think happened is they found wrongdoing by the social worker and decided and told the county, if you don't, return this kid, we're going to cut all your federal funding. They returned that kid so fast.
Yeah.
See, they this whole time they have done nothing but do us wrong because they don't like Shane. I'm not gonna lie, I struggle with my addiction,
Mm-hmm.
but Shane, he's never been a drug addict. He has put up with my shit for sorry, he's put up with my addiction for the past 10 years that we've been together. You know, me being sober, not sober, sober, not sober. He didn't deserve to lose the kids. And they took the kids based on they're saying that because me and him are close, we don't live together, we're not together. Right when they took the kids, he took me to court and divorced me. Okay, and then we tried to continue to work it out and try to get the kids back, but of course I messed up more than a couple times, so he left me. But he doesn't want it's for the kids. He says, you know, he doesn't want to see me out on the streets. He doesn't want to put me under. So he's helped me. He helps me pay my rent. Sometimes he helps me pay my bills if I can't afford it. He pays his own rent at his house, and he makes sure that I have a car. And it's not because we're together, but it's because he wants his kids to have a mom. And he still to this day just, I guess, hopes that I'll do right.
Okay, Valerie, there's something I want to tell you. And I'm not telling you this to say that this is going to happen in your case, because the stars have to align the right way. But maybe it seems like 6 or 7 months ago, I think Sandra, you were on the show as a host, and Miss G was on the host. We had a woman from San Diego County in California who had her rights terminated. 5 years goes by. She gets her rights reinstated and she gets her kid back. So when I hear people say it can never happen, that's not true, because I know of at least one case in California. I think I know of one case also in Minnesota. But, you know, if I were you, I would never give up, because after all, these are your children. You know, I lost a son to drug addiction, Valerie, and I consider it to be a disease that you have to deal with every day, just like if you had cancer, you know, or if you had high blood pressure, or if you had COVID. You know, it's a disease. I think that is something that you will continue to work on the rest of your life. But in the same vein, don't give up on your kids. And in order for you to get your kids back, you're going to have to try to beat this disease. And Shane, I'd say the same thing for you. You don't have that going on with you, but you know, I sure would like to review the file to find out why in the world your rights got terminated.
Yeah.
Other than probably the judge not liking you.
That's to tell you the truth, that's about it. And then they don't believe that I'm not with her. They believe we're just saying that because I continue to help her, but I don't see that like against the law, you know.
Why?
Look
Yeah.
at it like you said, you know, if you have a kid, he's a drug addict, okay, he comes to you and says he's hungry. I mean, as a parent, you're going to feed him no matter what he's doing. You know, I'm not going to feed.
But you're looking at this situation with common sense. Common sense doesn't control what happens in the courtroom.
Yeah.
You know, I have a video on YouTube. It's called What is Justice? It's only 7 minutes. I would suggest after sometime today you watch that video, because justice is not what you think it is, my friend. It's not.
I know.
And so we can sit here and complain, blah, 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 blah. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do? You know, Minnesota's trying to pass a law that even if you lose your parental rights, that in the future you might be able to go back and do something, or at least the relatives aren't, their rights aren't terminated if yours are. But here's the interesting question. Were your kids with relatives?
No, we don't have anybody up here.
No.
Well, I say all the time, and I make videos about this all the time. The friends and relatives who could take your kid can live anywhere in the world. They don't have to live in your county. They could live in Deschutes County. They don't even have to live in your state. They could live in California, where you're from, the Salinas area. They could live in New York, Florida, Louisiana, Wyoming, North Dakota. Or they can live anywhere in the world. There's something that that the United States and most countries, not all, most countries are, what do they call, parties to an international treaty called the Hague Convention, Hauge, I think. And that has to deal with the international placement of children. See it a lot here in Southern California since we're so close to the Mexican border. But Mexico has its own CPS, if you can believe that, and so do a lot of countries. I dealt with a case a few years ago where kids were going to go live in Switzerland, right? We had to contact the CPS in Switzerland. So for you and for everyone watching, you want to try to get these children placed with friendly relatives, not with the relatives that want to screw you and take the kids from you, but with friendly relatives.
I don't have nobody. I mean, she does. All my family is passed away.
You don't have any distant relatives. You don't have any friends. You
I
sound
only
like
have one brother. That's it, and me and him don't get along. I mean, that's all I have.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is. I mean, I have some aunts I don't really talk to, but I haven't contacted them yet. But they're real old. I mean, but she has family.
Everyone listening, when you start these CPS cases, you need to make that list for the 25 friends and relatives that could, not would, could take the kids. You got to do that right at the beginning. I know in California, and I think in Oregon, I can't remember in Oregon, but in California, there's a law that says kids have to be placed or should be placed with relatives. And it's kind of a weird thing that a lot of people ignore it. Oh, kids are with foster parents. That's all right. That's not the law. As a matter of fact, I think I haven't read the statute in a long time, but I think it says that the social worker has to report to the court about their efforts to place kids with relatives or family friends. And usually, in cases here that I'm involved with, you get a 1 or 2 liner, maybe a 3 liner on their, what do they call it, quote unquote, efforts to place with relatives. There's one county in California, and I won't mention the name, but years ago, they were sued because of this, and they lost a lot of money. And now, in a lot of their cases, if not all of their cases, they prepare a separate report where they've hired an outside company just to do search for relatives. Everywhere in that county, in the state, other states. The interesting thing is that from what I've told, that some relatives get these calls and they are like, okay, we've called you, but you don't really want to take care of this kid. Let me tell you all the problems there would be. And so most of the relatives say, oh, well, we don't want to take the kids.
That's what they do here.
Yeah.
And here, I mean, the DHS, I mean, they lie, they manipulate and connive like the whole situation. Like they knew on her part, she didn't finish her drug classes and stuff, so they knew they had her. But on my part, they just started making up a whole bunch of stuff and started like attacking me like I was the worst person in the world. But I mean, 99% of it's all hearsay and not true, but they just make it stick. Like you said, I mean, it's not fair. I'm not complaining or crying. I'm just saying what they did, and that's what they did on me.
Yeah, that's what they tend to do. They tend to come up with stories to fit their agenda. And this is one of the things that I tell people all the time. I know it's your government, but don't think that your government has the same agenda that you do, because they don't.
I know.
And everyone in the courtroom has their own agenda. So, Shane, you had your own agenda. Valerie, you had your agenda. The children's attorney had their own agendas. Your attorneys had their own agendas, believe it or not.
Our
Social.
attorneys, our attorneys and the DHS's attorney were laughing and having lunches together, and
They're basically all in cahoots with
like
each
they
other.
just
I mean,
they weren't really working for us. Like they seemed like they were working against us.
I can see that, many years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I was a court appointed attorney. And, when you come to work with people every day, that's, we're human beings. That's what happens.
yeah.
Right. So that's the danger. One of the dangers that I see with court appointed attorneys, because, I was a court appointed attorney, you know, um, some of the social workers attorneys liked me. Some of them didn't like me. Right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the dangers of having a court appointed attorney. But if you don't want a court appointed attorney, you got to hire a private attorney. And if the funds are a problem, that's going to be a problem for you.
The funds aren't a problem. That's the thing too. The whole time our kids were taken from us, we literally, the caseworker, the SSA, whatever she is, the one that would do the visits, would come and tell us, hey, the foster parents said they need more socks. The foster parents said they need these clothes. We bought shoes and clothes and toys, and literally we supported, besides feeding them, we have supported our kids this entire time they're gone, with all their school clothes, all their school supplies, all their winter clothes, summer clothes, shoes, everything.
They even brought up in the courtroom that
That
I buy too much stuff for the kids, and that's a problem because I'm teaching my kids that the material stuff that I'm buying them is my way of love, and the foster parents say that it shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't
that
be
we're
doing
trying to buy our children's love, when it's not. That's not the case. We're just trying to.
but I always bought my kids stuff.
I know here's the problem though. When they're in foster care, at least here in California, the foster parent is responsible for providing for the child's needs. And I
Even
don't know if
too.
you know this, but the foster parents get paid money, and so does the county, or in your case, the state of Oregon, to take care of your children.
I know. We
But
know
they
it.
had my kids in rags, so I mean, I didn't want them looking like that, so I used to take them clothes, and they would constantly be telling me they're hungry, so I would buy them food and buy them toys because my kids are sitting there telling me that they're not getting none of it. So I mean, I felt as a dad that I want to take care of my kids, so I bought it for them. I
Here,
mean,
here's something that is such a true statement. James Bayless, watching on Facebook, says they, meaning CPS, are pros at psyops. They use it well. Do you know what psyops is?
No.
no,
Okay, psyops is something as kind of a military term, and it's psychological warfare.
yes,
Okay, and they are pros at it. They're trained at it. I don't know if you know this, but social workers are highly trained.
yes.
Oh yeah, she was trained to be a, what was it?
Well, that's what she does. She tries to manipulate people. The whole time she was manipulating her, and then that's why me and her never got along because she would try to manipulate me, and it wouldn't work. And then she just like she wouldn't even try to talk to me. She would always go to her because she could
Jane,
manipulate her and get her to say stuff.
Shane, it's called divide and conquer. It's one of the oldest strategies in human history.
Yes,
Yeah. Now, here's something that everyone should know. Your social workers are highly trained individuals at their job to get what they want, to win against you.
yes,
Okay? They have tactics they use. They have psychological and emotional tactics. They have legal tactics. I talk to a lot of people all the time, and it's like, oh, I can outsmart the social worker. No, you can't.
No,
No,
they
you
have
can't.
all the power and everybody backing them. Even
Well, they know all the tricks of the trade. This is probably your first case, probably your
yes,
first lawsuit. You're probably your first case with CPS. You're
yeah,
outmatched. You do not try to go against the social worker by yourself. It ain't going to work.
yeah.
It's not going to
It
work.
don't. Yeah, it don't work.
Yeah.
I tried. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't work.
Hey, don't forget about that DHHS complaint I told you guys about, okay? Especially you, Shane.
We won't.
Do you
Hey,
know any attorneys around, like the Oregon area that I could hire to do my appeal?
We have the money. We just need to find somebody that can actually help us.
so I do know someone. He's an attorney I worked with on that Oregon case a couple of years ago. What I will do is I will call him tomorrow, um, and or I'll text him and see if he responds. But Shane, you see this telephone number bottom right part of your screen?
Yes.
Okay. Call that tomorrow and ask to speak to me. Tell them that we were on a show together yesterday. They'll take a message and they'll text it to me, and I'll give you a call. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Valerie, Shane, thank you for being on and sharing your story. I really appreciate it. We have another guest who's coming on right after you. So thank you again. And I hope to be
Thank
talking
you.
to you guys soon. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, Miss Cassandra, it's the same in Oregon as it is everywhere else in the United States.
Yep.
Kind of disheartening, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Do you think that we will, as a group of people, parents, relatives, ever get together and do anything like change laws, like vote? I know we talk a lot about it.
Yeah. Well, I guess I have hope for it. I don't know. It doesn't mean it will happen, but I have hope for it.
Mhm.
I never do something like that.
Hey, everybody, I want everyone to check out one of my websites, fcps.lawyer, and the F stands for fight.
I was about to say.
All right, so let's bring on our next guest. Oh, let's see, is she still there? Ashley, are you there? You ready to join us? She was there, but she's disappeared. Here, James says he's giving us a website. Have you ever heard of this website?
Mm-mm.
No. James, in the middle of the stream, I can't go to the website. What's that website about? Oh, he says all 50 states connect here. Maria says laughing LMBO. What are you laughing at, Maria? And then take some questions while we're waiting for Ashley to come back. Rachel Trejo watching on Facebook. So if a judge hasn't ordered more classes, but CPS is telling you you have to do more, do you have to do more? Rachel, that's a very interesting question. And the answer to that question is it depends. Okay. It depends on the nature and the circumstance of your case. Theoretically, if you're in California, I would say you do not have to do it. Okay. But that doesn't mean you're going to win your case and get your kids back, because sometimes the judge will say, well, you should have done it. And then sometimes the judge will say, well, you don't have to do it. So it just depends on the facts and circumstances. Here's something, Rachel, that I want you and everyone to understand. These cases are not black and white, and neither is the law. People are always looking for easy answers or answers that are definite. that they have some certainty to. Cases, and especially CPS cases in front of a judge, they're not like that. They're always changing, okay? They're always, the judges are given so much discretion. One judge will tell you, yeah, you have to do it. Another judge will tell you, no, you don't have to do it. So depending on what it is, and the circumstances, if I were you, I would talk to your lawyer to see if it's something that you should do. Okay? All
I
right.
just, I
What'd you
think
say?
it would just be in the best interest to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, sometimes you have to win these cases outside of the courtroom, as I've
It'd be
said.
the best, I
Yeah.
think.
All right. So it looks like Ashley is back. So we're going to bring her on. Good morning, Ashley. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh, thank God. Whew. There's been so many difficulties with me getting on here. I almost didn't think I was going to get on.
Oh, yeah. We're here. Yeah, we can hear you and we can see you loud and clear. So what state are you from?
I'm from Pennsylvania,
Oh, Pennsylvania. What part?
York.
Where is that in relationship to, is it Scranton?
I've heard of Scranton, but I'm like 30 minutes from Harrisburg.
Okay. Have you lived in Pennsylvania all your life?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I used to live up there.
You used to live in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I was in a town called Springboro, like in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay. So what's going on with CPS and your family and the state of Pennsylvania?
Uh-oh.
Ashley's having some technical difficulties. The internet is an amazing tool, but it always doesn't work right. We started a couple minutes late this morning because I was having problems with the internet.
Mhm.
And now we see Ashley is having problems. Let me take a couple questions. Rachel says, thank you so much. Rachel, thank you and for watching, and my pleasure. Here's someone, Tamika Cook is watching on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Is an attorney needed during mediation for custody? Well, it depends. It's one of those, you guys are looking for a black and white answer. It depends, Tamika, and I'll get back to you. Hey, Ashley, are you back with us?
Oh,
Well, we lost her completely. So, Tamika, my opinion is yes. But in a lot of states, like in LA County, if you're doing a mediation, if it's a CPS mediation, the attorney gets to participate. If it's a family law mediation, the attorney doesn't get to participate. So when you said needed, I would say yes. And, sometimes if you're in a mediation in family law and your attorney's not needed, you might want to go out in the hallway and call him or her or text him or her to ask her a question. Maybe not. All right. Maria says, what you said the F stands for. It stands for fight CPS. Maria, it stands for fight CPS. I actually have another website called fightchildprotectiveservices.com. So when I started the new website, I abbreviated fcps.lawyer. Okay. The F stands for fight. Let's get that clear. Ashley, don't go away. Ashley, don't go away. Are you there? We have Ashley back.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, this is such a mess. I checked my internet and we were above 13. So there's no reason this should be doing this.
Okay. Well, either you're going to be a guest on today and we'll get through this, or we can always bring you back. We do this show, 7 times a week.
I know, but this is super important because I have a court hearing on Tuesday.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me what's going on.
So I don't know what's going on, really. I have a stack of papers from them like this high. trying to stop me. Like, they're just keep throwing papers at me, accusations. I'm telling you, this has been going on. This harassment has been going on for 10 years. And it seems every time I change my location, every time I move, they come knocking with different accusations. This time, I have child abuse charges. And it started with my son, and he was taken to the dentist back in November. So, CYS come back in, and they said they had a anonymous tip saying whatever, I was drinking and driving with my children, whatever, um, all the time. But it turned my case.
Cassandra, she's just having no luck on the internet. You know, I mention this to people all the time. If you're going to do a live stream, either for yourself or with us, it always helps to have high-speed internet. Connected to the router with a wire, not wireless connection. And I fear that that's what she's maybe trying to do on her laptop or her computer, some type of wireless connection.
So believe it or not, my internet connection, why it was so bad last time, it was on my laptop, wireless, but it works so much better on my phone. Wirelessly. I don't know.
Interesting.
Mhm.
And I think that when the guests come on and we're all on together, the speed really matters because we're transmitting, uploading and downloading video and sound to each other. So it really comes into play. For my internet connection, I called up Spectrum. Yeah, here we've lost Ashley completely. On my internet connection, I just called Spectrum and I said, "Hey, I want what's the fastest I can get?" And the salesperson was like, "Oh, you don't need the fastest. You just do wireless." And I said, "No, you don't get it. I need the fastest. I want any problems." And at that time, I was doing the ABC radio show. And I was doing it from home during COVID. So I need, to do a radio show to broadcast back to the station and then back into the airwaves. I really needed high speed. Looks like we have Ashley back.
We'll be back.
Hey, Ashley. We have it's a very bad connection, Ashley's friend. I'm sorry. One of the things that I would suggest is that maybe you guys figure out this internet connection and we reschedule you for maybe tomorrow. And if she has an emergency, she can call that number today and I can talk to her. Just give me a telephone number to call her back. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately the connection isn't working. So we're coming to the end of the show anyway. Today was it daylight savings time today?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I know all about that.
Well,
At
you
least
were on,
my
you
phone.
were on, yeah, you were on time. So,
Yeah.
but I think everything is automatic now. I think my cable box changed automatically. My iPhone changed automatically. Um, so it's not something you really have to think about. And so
Yeah.
it's 10:15 now, which feels like 10:15 to me, but it's really supposed to be 11:15. Yeah. Hey, have you talked to Miss G this weekend?
No, I haven't.
Do you remember a host that we used to have? Her name was Amanda.
Yes.
I got a text from Amanda. She's now I don't think it's permanently. I think she's out here, but for an extended amount of time. And she might. I don't know. I'm hoping she comes back on the show as she might want to do a show once a week. By the way, any of you folks that want to be a host or a co-host on a show, please give us a call. Call us the number. As the banner says, We are looking for hosts, so call us. We are looking for hosts. Okay, I see
I'm,
Ashley back. Huh?
I'm going to do my own show here with my sister on
Oh,
Friday, 10 o'clock.
congratulations. Congratulations. So I didn't realize that guest that you had up the other day was your sister.
Yeah.
She lives in the same area as you?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Okay, here's Ashley. Let's see if she's back. Ashley?
I'm here.
Okay, we'll try it one more time.
Oh my goodness.
So if you have a hearing on Tuesday, what type of hearing is it, and what questions did you have for me?
I guess it's so they removed my kids, and then I had the 72-hour hearing, which it
Mhm.
really should have been only 48, like you said. So then they pulled me in again though for an emergency hearing, and that was to take away my rights to talk to my children about the trial. I can't talk to the other parents about what's going on, or they're going to put me in jail if I do talk to them about it. So Tuesday is the dependency hearing, I believe.
Is it you're in Pennsylvania? I wonder if it's the hearing that we call the jurisdictional and dispositional hearing to determine whether the allegations against you are true or false.
That's right.
Okay, so now that I know what hearing you're facing, what questions did you want to ask me?
I don't know which way I'm supposed to go.
Okay, hold
I
on,
just
hold on. You have a lawyer, right?
I have a court appointed attorney, and I don't think that's a good idea from what I keep hearing.
Okay, well, let me tell you this, because we're really up against the wall now if you have a hearing on Tuesday. Let's forget about what you've been hearing, okay? What you've been hearing may be true, may be false, okay? Now, what you have to do at this late stage is you have to get in touch with your attorney. You have to come up with a strategy. You have to subpoena in the defense witnesses that you're going to need to call us and get the documents subpoenaed of any exhibits that you're going to need in your defense. Now, that's what you have to do. Okay. And some of the witnesses may be friends, relatives, third parties that you don't know, might be your children. Call them as a witness. Might be you, might be some of the other fathers. I don't know. I don't know anything about your case, but that's what you have to do. And what I would do today is I would call and leave a message for my attorney, as well as email my attorney, as well as text my attorney. Okay, so that you can get this thing going. Now, if you have a court-appointed attorney, you know, this case is probably the most important case in your life that you'll ever have, ever. Your court-appointed attorney, not so much. So, and don't expect the court-appointed attorney to be on the same level as concern as you are. You know why? Because in America, you get what you pay for, right? That doesn't mean the court-appointed attorney can't do a good job. It's just that you're going to have to help him or her along to do a good job.
Oh, I plan to cross-examine everybody.
Okay, I don't know your skills or your ability to cross-examine, but if you have a lawyer, I think you should be using your lawyer. Okay? I don't know your lawyer. Maybe a great lawyer, maybe a bad lawyer, maybe intermediate. But I can tell you what, either three of those is probably better than what you have by yourself. Unless you went to law school or unless you used to be a lawyer or are a lawyer. Don't think that the courtroom is someplace where fairness and justice, as it is in your mind, is going to prevail.
Right.
Because I just told the previous guest, what's her name? Valerie? Is that Valerie and Shane? Yeah.
Mhm.
Look, justice is not what you think it is. And I have a YouTube video on that. You need to go watch it. Justice
I
is not
did.
what you think. Yeah, it's not what you think it is.
There is no justice.
Well, as defined by you, in your heart and in your mind, there is no justice. All right. Now, having said that, what are you going to do? You're going to cry about it and complain about it, or you're going to go in there and fight your best shot and do what you can to win and get your children home.
I'm going
You
to
know,
fight.
while you were having internet difficulties, I was telling Cassandra, you know, we, including me, we do a lot of talking. A lot of talking. Are we ever going to do anything that's really going to make things different? So you have a chance. You need to speak to your attorney, come up with a strategy, get your witnesses subpoenaed, get your exhibits subpoenaed, and get people to court to testify for you, to show that these allegations are false or mostly false,
They are
to,
false.
sh- to show that you are a good mother and that you're not a danger to these kids. Look, the judge doesn't know you from Adam, okay? All he or she knows is what the social worker is feeding them in their ear. Now, unless you come to court with evidence and witnesses to contradict what the social worker is putting in the judge's ear, you're going to lose. Period. You may think that's unfair, but that's our American justice system. And let me tell you something else. In California, at least, I don't know about Pennsylvania, your attorney getting up and arguing is not evidence. It may look good and sound good, but you're going to lose if all you have is an attorney that's arguing, because the social worker actually has reports that are admitted into court, and that's evidence. So you need witnesses to get on the stand and tell why each part of that social worker report is false. You cannot win a trial any other way. And everybody that's on here and looks at this, oh, the courts are unfair and blah, blah, blah. You know, that may be true, but most of the time I talk to people, they lost because they didn't have any evidence. Well, you know, the social worker said I never took the kid to the doctor. And I made, you know, every appointment every month. Well, what evidence did you have? Well, I thought the judge would know that. The judge doesn't know anything. Only what you present him or her in the courtroom. So in that type of thing, you might want to subpoena in the nurse, subpoena in the doctor, subpoena in the medical records to show that you took the kid to the doctor every month. So when the social worker said you never took the kid to the doctor, you have the evidence. And then the judge can scratch his or her head and say, well, what's going on? Why is the social worker saying that? This lady, you know, actually came into court with the nurse, the doctor, and the medical records to show that she took the kid to the doctor every month. You see how that works?
Yes.
Just because you did it doesn't mean it's going to be proven to be true in court. Court is a false reality. Things exist in court when you put them into evidence and they're admitted.
Okay, so I want to tell you that that first child abuse accusation from the dentist, this is from months ago, and I appealed it. And when I did appeal it, they come knocking again with more accusations, and now I have 4 more counts of child abuse on top of the one that I just appealed. So I have like 3 different things going on right now, and I have 6 children total. And they're coming at me with just more and more accusations, like more paperwork. I have so much paperwork that I have to follow step by step and all these guidelines. It's just like they keep throwing paperwork at me, so I get confused.
Okay, Ashley, that's part of the game. You are always going to be confused because you're not a veteran. Your social worker and your social worker's attorney has probably done hundreds, if not thousands, of these cases. You've never done this before. Guess what? They have an advantage over you. It's like you might as well play one-on-one with Michael Jordan on the basketball court. You don't have a chance. That's what it's akin to. Now, you need to get some help. You need to get somebody on your team. You need to get, you know, Kobe if he was still alive. That's your lawyer. You guys got to come up with a plan and a strategy, and you got to have witnesses. You got to have somebody on the bench, the supporting starting five, the people from the bench. Those are your witnesses and your exhibits. Do you have that lined up?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. You need to get your lawyer on the same page.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay, because there's nothing like the lawyer walking into court and you've got 10 witnesses and 10 subpoenaed documents, and he or she doesn't know anything about them. They might end up convincing you to plead no contest, to admit to this, just because they're not ready to proceed. Now, I don't know anything about your case. I don't know if you should plead. I don't know if you shouldn't plead. Right? I don't know if you should have a trial. I've never reviewed your file, your chart, so to speak. But if you believe that you need to have a trial, you better get your attorney on the same page.
Okay.
Now, here's the best way to do it. I'll give you a little hint that will really help your attorney and get him or her on board. Okay? You don't have to write this down. I really just want you to listen, because you can replay this. It's on 8 social media websites for the rest of time. It's on there forever. Okay? Number 1, all right? And we're at the 56-minute mark, by the way, if you've got to, advance the video. Number 1, what I would do is I would write out a story for my attorney, double space, 14-point font. Let him know what's happening. Assume he or she knows nothing. So you're going to have to educate your attorney. Right? The second thing I would do is I'd make a witness list. I give the name and telephone number of each person on that witness list. And then next to the name, I would type out what they're going to testify to. Okay?
Yep.
Clue the lawyer in. Assume he or she knows nothing. The next thing I would do is I would make an exhibit list. How many pieces of paper or video or pictures do I need to bring in to show what the social worker is saying is false? And then I would make that list of exhibits, and right next to it, I would explain in a short sentence or two why this is an important exhibit. Now, basically, if you do all of that, you are laying out the case for your attorney. And if he or she has any experience whatsoever, they'll be able to roll with it, even if they never even looked at your file.
Okay.
Okay? Now, bottom line, who did all the work? You did. Bottom line, whose kids are they? Your kids. Bottom line, all you need that lawyer is a mouthpiece in court, and you're giving him or her the script. You got it?
Yep.
Okay. It's Sunday, and it's 10:30 here, 11:30. So it's 1:30 on Sunday there, where you are in Pennsylvania. I doubt you're going to be able to get in touch with your attorney. You might email him or her. Is it a him or her?
Her.
Okay. Email her, text her, call her, and present everything to her on Monday morning via email, and let her know it's all there. The script's there. All you got to do is read it on Tuesday.
The script and the evidence.
Right.
Yep.
Right. But here's the important part, and this is key. You must assume she knows nothing. Because if you assumed she can connect point A with point B, or point A with point D, you're going to be sadly mistaken. And you guys are going to crisscross and not be on the same page. Explain everything. Now, don't forget this. You lived all of these events. You were there, you saw it, you heard it, you smelled it, you touched it. Guess what? Your attorney wasn't there. She doesn't know. So don't think she's going to connect dots. Connect dots for her. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions you wanted to ask me?
I don't think so, but am I able to call into your office tomorrow if I do?
Yeah. Bottom right of the screen, 888-888-6582.
Okay.
Tell the receptionist who answers, "Hey, I was on Vince's show. I talked to him yesterday. I need to talk to him today." And they will take the message and text it to me. The only thing that will prevent me from calling you right back is I'll be in court tomorrow.
Okay. And then
Okay?
you know how you say we're under a microscope? When I couldn't join the last time, I was backstage the whole time, and I feel like they're tapping into my phone. They're trying to do everything they can to keep me um, from not winning my case.
Maybe true. Stranger things have happened.
So at the day after we didn't connect on the live broadcast, I called your office 2 times and I talked to your secretary for 1 minute, and then my signal goes out of my phone. She can hear me, or I can hear her, and she can't hear me. I called back twice and that happened. So I was so paranoid and so upset. I called my mother. She rushed to my home so I could make that phone call to your office to make sure we could reschedule. And my mother's phone call went through fine when I called with her phone.
Good, good, good. All right. One of the things I don't want you to do, Ashley, because everything you may be saying may be true. I don't want you to get sidetracked on that until after Tuesday, after the trial. Right
Okay.
now, focus only on the trial. Focus only on what you're going to do.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
All right. Ashley, thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. And I look forward, if you're going to be calling me on Monday, look forward to talking to you.
I will. Thank you so much, sir.
Bye-bye. Okay, Miss Cassandra, that brings us to the end of the show. Any comments or anything you want to mention?
I just hope she follows through with writing that story out, because that would help her a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it will help her and her attorney a lot.
Yeah, and if she actually contacts her attorney, because that's the most important thing for her right now, since she doesn't have a hired attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Miss Cassandra, we will be on the air tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Will you be joining us?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And look, you have a good rest of the day today. All righty?
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Goodbye, everyone.